Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a
What's
light
your
on
story?
incredible. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission?
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spotlight Sessions. My name is Avital. I'm your host for today, and I'm really excited to be speaking with Daana, who's the head of projects at TGBW. How are you today?
Great, thank you.
Awesome. It's really great to be speaking with you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Daana. I've been with the organization for around 6 years now, in which I'm responsible for various social projects that are aimed at specifically vulnerable groups of our society.
Amazing. And can you tell us a little bit about TGBW and also the other organizations that you're working with?
Sure. So we are basically a conglomerate of 4 different nonprofit organizations that work towards achieving social peace and self-determined participation of all social groups in Germany, specifically in the south of Germany. And we work with various social groups, some of which are considered particularly vulnerable in our society, for example, people with disabilities. And through our social work, we aim to contribute to normalizing the thought and practice of equal and equitable participation and inclusion of all segments of our society. So of all people with all abilities.
Amazing. And what motivated you to become a part of the organization?
Well, actually, before that, I was working in political consultancy, before that in academia. So I didn't have that much immediate output of my work, which everybody knows who works in academia. It's a very long and dreadful process, and I wanted to actually do something socially valuable, and I think that definitely worked out. There are so many little improvements and those big improvements throughout my work that I could immediately see, and that was my motivation.
Amazing. And is there a particular moment, like a memorable moment or story from your time there that has had a lasting impact on you? So I know that you mentioned, in this previous answer that going from academia to the TGBW, I'm just curious if there was something lasting that has had a memorable impact.
I think working with the organization, where we also have a very inclusive office, so we have colleagues with different abilities, and I think that was a very interesting thing for me to learn, to also accept that there are just people in my own office that just need specific considerations, and that was a very impactful thing for me, that through that process I learned so much. So it gave me so many soft skills, and I think that was particularly good for me.
Amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the services and the projects that you're currently working on for the community?
Sure. So this very first common project of all our organizations in our office was the website Diversity Academy. That's the one where we first got in touch with accessiBe's. And it's basically an online school, if you will, in which we provide various publicly available online courses and sensitivity training and learning material on a range of topics such as LGBTIQ and gender, racism, discrimination, conspiracy theories, and disinformation, a very topical thing, refugees and migration, and also disabilities and inclusion. And with this website, it's so we address 2 major groups: people that are themselves affected by these topics, that want to learn something, that want to get some training and some skills, and which is why we want to make this website also as broadly accessible as possible, as technically possible. And then we also provide the sensitivity training, of course, to all of society, just to, try to work on more awareness for very specific considerations that some groups need. And what is especially important for us is that people shouldn't look at specific social groups, for example, people with disabilities, only as passive recipients of help. We have a lot of people that have various abilities that contribute very, very valuable things to society. And that's how we also, with this website, also try to empower these people as well.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and I've never heard anybody phrase it like that about changing the way that society views these different communities as not only being passive recipients of help. I think that's a really impactful way to phrase it. So thank you so much for that. I'm curious about what first comes to mind when you hear the word accessibility, and what does accessibility mean to you?
Sorry, there was just a little connection problem. I think you asked what web accessibility means to me. Is that
Just
correct?
accessibility in general.
Oh, accessibility. Uh, well, accessibility means to provide, equitable participation to all segments of our community. And that's especially important to me and to us as an organization, as it's also at the very root of our democracy. We have to ensure that all segments of our society have access to participation and have at least the choice to do that. And the oldest of our organization of our conglomerate was founded in the 90s. And throughout the 2000s, we made our offices as broadly accessible as possible. And in the past few years, of course, we wanted to expand also our activities more and more in the digital world. And so it became a more technical and frankly also quite difficult issue to deal with, to think about how to make all our online activities just as accessible as our offices are. And so, yeah, to me, accessibility means actually being fair and also being just aware of all the diversity in our community.
Definitely. And what's one thing about the different communities that you work with that you wish people knew about?
Yeah, I think what I mentioned before, maybe to look at those different segments and to all those different people and their potential to actually contribute something positive and something critical, and that also the contribution of many social groups can actually empower ourselves and every single one of us to also critically reflect their own views on society. And it's something that we're working on a lot, to normalize just this thought of diversity. And yeah, I wish people were a little more aware of the potential activism of all social groups, and not only of of some social groups. A lot of people seem to think that some groups are only, asking for more, or, just want more help, just want more support here and there. But that's not true. It's not how it is.
Right, definitely. What do you wish that businesses did more of in regards to accessibility and inclusion?
Yeah, I can't really speak much about businesses per se. I talked to some colleagues about that too. We think that also nonprofit organizations lack oftentimes a lot of knowledge
Mm-hmm.
on the technical possibilities of accessibility, and maybe oftentimes, it's a lot more common among nonprofit organizations to provide some sort of accessibility, but it might often be a little bit limited, like maybe limited to like very specific disabilities, but maybe not to people who might have multiple disabilities as well, which is not that uncommon. So maybe there's a lot of the times there's maybe a little bit of lack of knowledge.
Definitely. Well, it was really great to speak with you today. Thank you so much for taking the time. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you or with organizations that you're working with, how can they do so?
Well, I think it's easiest to do that via email. So yeah, you can, I think, best contact us or through the website through diversity-academy.org,
Mhm.
or to our just major central email, info@tgbw.de.
Okay, amazing. Well, we'll definitely have all that in the description. Thank you so much again for taking the time to connect today. It was really great to learn more about the work that you're doing, and looking forward to our next conversation.
Yeah, I do as well. And we would also like to express our gratitude to accessiBe for providing us with this awesome plugin that we're using for our new website. And it was great talking to you. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions if people email us.
Amazing.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.